Salamat, nurse. Salamat, nurse. Salamat, nurse.
Magandang araw! Welcome back to the 2021's favorite radio show / podcast of the year.
Salamat, Nurse. And yes, we welcome you all to another episode of our podcast. Kamusta ka, partner?
Ako, partner, okay naman. Fresh na fresh. And at the same time, cute na cute. Wow, cute.
Yes, I'm very glad to hear that, lalo na ngayong sinasalubong natin ang 2022 with a bang.
Yes po, mga kaibigan, mga kakamping, kapatid, we have plenty of surprises in store for you. Kaya, tune in lang.
That's true. So how about today, partner? Ano nga ba yung pasabog natin para sa ating audience?
Alam mo, today, partner, alam mo kung anong gagawin natin. We're trying to show more appreciation sa ating mga OFW nurses. Kasi diba, the sacrifices they're making, working away from their families, and caring for people na hindi naman talaga nila kilala.
Nako, tama ka, partner. Kaya naman, let's stop their sacrifices because they have been also learning to adapt to the culture of the country and the community that they're in para lang, 'di ba, makapagbigay ng kalingang kinakailangan ng bawat isa, kundi marespeto din yung mayamang kultura nila.
You couldn't have said it better, partner. So without further ado, let's introduce ourselves for the day. On the line, we have California. Alam mo ba, she has been in Fremont for about 5 years and she's currently working in a behavioral facility. Meron siyang mga baon na experiences and thoughts with regards to working in a multicultural workplace. Kaya abangan natin yan.
Wow naman, our very own Gen Z thriving abroad, no sis? Sana all na lang talaga. So next up naman, we have in our studio, Nurse Prika. She is currently working here in the Philippines naman.
Yes naman, may community nurse pa pala tayong kasama dito. At syempre, we won't forget about our very own returning alumni. Ay nako, fresh from the snowy plains of Canada, Nurse Kim.
Ayan, hello naman sa ating mga bayaning nurse. Kamusta naman po kayo today?
Okay lang. Ito, nag-aantay ng balita about sa next quarantine.
I'm fine naman here. Nakakamiss nga yung hit ng PH, no?
Ay wow, buti ka pa nurse Kim na mismo, charot. So, paano nga ba ang mangyayari dito sa special episode ng ating podcast partner?
Well, we've got questions for our very own Tony. As she answers, mag-share rin ng mga experiences and thoughts na Nurse Prika and Nurse Kim. Para naman very fruitful ang mga lessons na makukuha ng ating mga listeners.
Ayan, tama. So, wag na natin patagalin to dahil nako, marami tayong mapag-uusapan at ako mismo, syempre, excited na. So, for our first question for Miss Tony, where are you currently working and how long are you working there? What ward are you in and what are the age group of your patients?
I'm currently working in a behavioral locked facility taking care of adults with psychiatric issues and dementia-related behaviors. The age group of the patients I take care of can range from 40 years old to as old as 90 plus years old. I'm currently working there for almost 10 months.
Oh, behavioral lab facility pala si Miss Tony. Ang taray, no? I don't think I've heard any facilities like that dito sa Philippines, no?
Actually, meron naman. Pero sadly, hindi siya masyadong nabibigyan ng budget, lalo na yung public facilities natin.
Oh, yeah, I agree. That's one of the things na na-observe ko na difference when I migrated. Although, health is a very big thing sa mga Filipinos, di ba? Our mothers are very health conscious. But it seems our healthcare is lagging behind in terms of development.
I know, right? I think you don't even have to be a nurse para ma-observe mo to eh. Kahit sinong Filipino citizen naman, makikita na our healthcare system could really use some improvement.
Totoo. Hindi lang yung healthcare system. I think even the way we treat our healthcare workers, better equipment, work environment, and syempre fair compensation, di ba?
Part siguro yun kung bakit maraming nagmamigrate na nurses abroad, no?
Totoo.
Mm, that's true. Alam niyo, let's ask Miss Tony why she chose to work there.
I was referred by a family friend who worked there, and I got the job. It was also close by to my place, and I really wanted to get some healthcare experience for my nursing school without having to worry about the commute. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue working in a behavioral facility because the residents can be combative at some point. But as I get to know each of them, I learn to avoid what triggers their behaviors and eventually form friendships with some of them. It may be hard, but it felt rewarding at the end of the day when I see them smile, even on their rough days.
So, wow, that last line she said, very much inspiring. Tunay nga, it's really hard to start off into something that you're not familiar with, especially when it comes to a new environment. But I guess with Miss Tony's answers, the relationship that you build with your patients, professional relationships, of course, make it worth it.
Oo, tama nga yun, no? Alam mo ba, speaking from my experience as well, mahirap talaga kasi makihalubilo lalo na sa pagpunta mo sa bagong environment. Lalo na kung napaka-rich ng culture niya as compared sa nakasanayan natin here in the Philippines. You will definitely have the jitters and the nervousness. Pero after you have passed through the first part, yung experiences and lessons that you will get every day, talaga masasabi mo na, I'm glad I went here. This is so worth it.
Same goes. Puso talaga yung puhunan, ika nga. Kahit gaano kapagod yung isang araw ko sa sobrang dumog ng tao sa ospital, wala eh. It's really the people, and kung sa tingin nila tayo yung nakakatulong sa kanila, hindi nila alam yung inspirasyon at motivation na nakukuha rin natin mula sa kanila.
For what you said, I really agree on how the relationship na mabibuild natin with patients na it makes it worth it. At the same time, patients give us inspiration and motivation as well. It's amazing how this is a general experience, ha?
Ayun. So, speaking of patients, how are your interactions with your patients dyan sa Fremont, Miss Tony? So, for sure, each one came from different cultures or races din, no? And, of course, your coworkers as well. So, what do you think are the effects of working in a multicultural healthcare workplace in your life? Can you cite positive and negative effects that it has brought?
There are days where I feel like I am starting to lose patience because my patients can get too disruptive and violent. I work with the same patients every day, so working in this kind of setting, you just have to be prepared about the mood swings of the patients. They can say mean things, but I always try not to take them personally because I know it's their mental conditions that triggers them to say those things, because there are days where they are okay and they're nice. I just have to be extra patient, compassionate, and understanding with them. Positive effects of working in a multicultural healthcare workplace is that it gives me opportunity to broaden my perspective about people of other race or ethnicity. We all have our own biases and beliefs, and working in a multicultural setting made me reflect on those and correct the misconceptions I have, whether it be towards my coworker or my patient of other race. For the negative effect, I noticed, of course, is that people of the same background tend to form groups with each other, and there are people who feel left out. In my workplace, it is mostly workers who are Filipinos, Indians, and some Mexicans, and they start to speak their language sometimes. So a few of my coworkers only speaks English and understands English. They feel like an outcast and tend to not mingle with the groups, especially like when working on the floor. In regards to patient care, some patients have preferences of their own on who they want to provide care for them because they too have their own biases.
Wow, alam mo, thank you for that, Miss Tony. I can also kind of sympathize with what she said. I think I realized na it's genuinely true na differences can really make you better. Although, syempre, mahihirapan ka rin. Pero if you choose to look beyond the differences, it will really help you develop to be a better nurse.
Tama, that's true on your skin, no? And maybe a part of it then na when it comes to working in more ways, we get to discover so many things beyond this horizon na currently, nagkita natin sa current experiences na meron tayo.
Oo, totoo nga. Kasi kahit now na hindi naman ako naka-experience pa at the moment na mag-abroad, hearing about the experiences of Miss Tony and reflections natin right now, napakalaking tulong na niya sa akin to provide insights. Pero kasi, a part of me pa rin is still scared. Parang nervous ba, ganon. I don't know how I can work with other culture pa at the moment.
Naman yun, Nurse Pika. So, you know what? Why don't we ask Miss Tony about this? So, hello, Miss Tony. Are you there pa? Our next question would be, during your experience working there, have you observed any barriers or conflicts between your culture and theirs? So, was there any discrimination? Na culture shock ka ba? And how was the overall experience for you?
There were definitely conflicts and barriers that I've encountered in my workplace. One barrier is the language. Although we mostly understand and speak English at work, there are some patients who barely speak English and rely on our bilingual coworkers. Some of them are speak Punjabi, like Indian, Hindi. We have Spanish speakers, all that. And sometimes it can be hard to understand a patient, which can be frustrating, especially on crunch time where the floor would get busy and you don't have all the time in the world to try and understand what they meant and what they wanted you to do. And sometimes you just want to get the job done. However, I try to find solutions just like looking for someone who speaks their language or just by using Google Translate. This is some common barrier that is somehow easy to resolve. However, some conflicts do arise. For example, a patient can become racist, which I have encountered. Some words can be hurtful. I try to brush it off, but I do defend myself when I know they went beyond my boundaries and their words insult and degrade me as a person. One time, this patient became aggressive and tried to hurt my coworker. So I tried to intervene, but as soon as I did, she called me a stupid Asian girl who didn't even bother going to college. I told her then and there that I work to take care of them so I can go back to school. That really took a toll on me, but after I said that, I know I had to calm down and still try to help with the situation. There were definitely culture shock, and my biggest one would be how different it is to speak English in a conversational way, in a casual conversation, because I was used to speak English like giving speeches and doing reports so academically, and some slang words and accents really gave me culture shock coming here to US and starting to work.
Grabe, what an experience. I see kung gaano nga dapat ay malakas din yung loob mo, especially when really immersing yourself in a culture. Iisipin mo na lang talaga na kahit masakit minsan yung sinasabi ng iba, ay nagagawa lang nila yon dahil sa situation nila. Be the bigger person, kumbaga. Don't fight fire with fire.
Ayun, totoo yun, Mare Prika. Alam mo, going abroad and working there really sounds very appealing to all of us. It sounds like a path to greener pastures and all. But it's really not all sunshine and rainbows there. You still gotta put in the hard work to get used to it. I think I can relate to her as well. Lalo na dun sa stupid Asian girl. Grabe naman, it's so harsh. Pero minsan nga, ang tawag sa akin, stupid Chinese boy. I'm not even Chinese, girl.
Very true. Alam nyo, people can be afraid sometimes of what they don't fully understand.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
true.
the good news nga dyan is there is always going to be a time na you get used
Get
to it,
used to it.
no?
Yes, maybe hindi nga mas nagiging madali yung situation, but don't we will certainly grow stronger in time, di ba?
Tama. Agree. Agree ba kayo doon? Yes. So, alam niyo guys, bakit hindi rin natin itanong kay Miss Tony, no? Miss Tony, do you mind telling us more about how you adjusted or adapted to working daily in a multicultural workplace? Right now, it seems to have its fair share of conflicts, no? What did you do to promote harmony and peace?
I adapt to working daily in a multicultural workplace just by being open-minded and willing to learn about other people's culture. It is a learning process, and I think you just really have to be an understanding person. For me, the only thing that comes to mind is communication is key. Like always, there will always be some differences and conflicts arising in the workplace. But I think that as long as you communicate with your coworkers, as well as you're willing to listen and talk things out with them, I think it does go a long way.
So, ayun, no? Communication goes a long way talaga. And I second that, Miss Tony. So, parang sa relationship lang, no? Open-mindedness and communication is always the key.
True, partner. At saka, you're literally building a relationship naman talaga with all the patients and of course, your colleagues.
Yeah, totoo. I agree, super. Pero still, it's only appropriate then to emphasize na communication is not enough. Dapat hindi lang dun. Dapat nandun din yung intent from both parties na magkaintindihan. And that's really something easier said than done.
Parang dito din sa Pilipinas, no?
Oo, actually, parang dito lang din talaga sa PH.
Kahit saan naman palang panig ng mundo, kapag binigyan mo ng enough time to develop rapport and trust, makakahanap talaga ng common ground for understanding for one another.
Ayun, totoo. So, kailangan lang talaga maging patient tayo sa isa't isa. So, segue lang, no? Na-curious ako, Miss Tony. You've mentioned na, ayun nga, there's always differences and conflicts arising in the workplace with your coworkers too. So, do you mind sharing more about your experiences with them? What would you say is your most memorable experience working with them in a multicultural workplace?
My most memorable experience working in a multicultural healthcare workplace would be whenever there are holidays and my coworkers and I all try to gather and celebrate together. We get to know more about each other outside work, and we get to share our culture through food and traditions.
Miss Tony, if you don't mind me asking, don't you miss the Philippines? Like, if my chance ka, would you choose to come back and work here? Asking for reference, malay mo ako rin soon, di ba?
Yes.
I would go back and work in the Philippines, but I don't think I'll stay there for good. Maybe I'll come back to work for a year or two, then move to go back to the US and maybe try working in other countries too.
I agree with Miss Tony here. Working abroad has widened my horizons so much. I've met so many new people and experienced so many new things. You know, I really love my country and I will surely keep going back to vote for better leaders. But the world is so big and it's just waiting there to be explored. Kaya I would probably do that too, no? Yung sinabi ni Miss Tony. Pabalik sa PH, work for a couple of years, and then maybe try a different country again.
So, the world is so big and just waiting to be explored. Gusto ko yan.
Grabe, this was very a fruitful discussion. Don't you think, partner? Grabe yung universal experiences ng mga nurses natin working in different parts of the world. And just how much they sacrifice and really ready themselves for immersing sa panibagong kultura.
Ayun, partner, sobrang accurate ng Universal. So, thank you so much sa ating pasalubong. na lessons from other countries from our fellow nurses. We appreciate the time you've put into being here with us today.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much sa mga special guests natin, Nurse Kin and Nurse Prika.
Oh, thank
Lalong-lalo
you
na
rin.
si Miss
Thank
Tony.
you.
Yes, maraming salamat po. Lalong-lalo na kay Miss Tony na for sure nako, madaling araw na po ata dyan sa inyo.
Ayun, true. Thank you so much for your time, guys. And of course, thank you to all our avid fans and listeners. We hope you pick up something fruitful from our podcast today. Or if not, hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did while making it for you.
Yes, yes, yes. And do not forget to tag us if you want to share your own experiences as well at Salamat Nurse and all our social media platforms. See you next week as we will be having a very, 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 very special guest na nurse na TikTok star pa. I think you know him, no partner.
Ayan, tama nako. I'm very excited for that, partner. So thank you very much, everyone. And this has been
Salamat,
Salamat, Nurse.
nurse!
Salamat nurse. Salamat nurse. Salamat